Our reading this morning is from the second chapter of Luke's Gospel, reading from verse 1 through to verse 7. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. Amen. May God bless to us this reading from his word. Are any of you hoping to get books when you open your Christmas presents? Are you looking for novels or cookery books, travel books? Or what about those books that promise to make it all so easy? A manual that takes something complex and makes it simple. That's what we need. So we have titles like An Idiot's Guide to This, or This Book for Dummies. These are very popular. A hospital chaplain friend of mine called Derek once spent time with someone, let's call her Linda, who was pregnant. Linda didn't know whether to put her baby up for adoption or whether to bring her baby up herself in some really quite difficult circumstances. What should I do? She wanted to know. Derek said that a copy of An Idiot's Guide to Life's Painful Decisions would have been really helpful, as might Life, the Rough Guide. But of course, these books haven't been written. We live in a world where for many of the problems there are no made simple manuals. A world where difficult choices have to be made, messy decisions have to be faced, and there are no quick fixes. A world that is so often nowhere near as perfect as we want it to be. And where in this world, we might ask, is God? The message of Christmas is that God is in the mess, in the pain, in the hurt, in the heartache, in the anger, in the confusion. For Mary, in that first Christmas, like Linda who spoke to my friend, pregnancy was not what Mary had been looking for at that time. For Joseph, knowing his wife-to-be was pregnant and it wasn't his child, that was not what he was wanting to hear. What a mess. For Mary and Joseph, the fact that the powers that be were ordering a census and they'd have to travel, that was the last thing they needed. What a hassle at a time like this, saddling the donkey and heading off to Bethlehem. And of course, when they got there, we know it wasn't plain sailing there either. We have sanitized and romanticized the stable, and it always has a nice soft light coming from it. But let's be real. It was a stable, and it smelt of animals. That was not how they expected married life to be, or the child to be born there. And there was no peace. Silent night, holy night, not for them. Shepherds appearing, and then kings. What on earth was going on? And then there was a dream. Get away to Egypt before the ethnic cleansing starts. What a mess this first Christmas was. But the affirmation of 2,000 years of Christian faith is exactly this, that in the mess, in the confusion, in the pain and uncertainty of Mary, Joseph, Jesus, and no room at the inn, in the midst of all that, God was there. On the road, with them, in that stable, and afterwards too. God was with Mary when she knew what she was carrying. Just as God is with us when we find that we too have something to carry that we hadn't expected. God was with Joseph when he faced up to things that he didn't want to hear. Just as God is with us when we too have to face up to things that we really don't want to know about, but we need to. And God was with them when they were trudging and struggling along the road to Bethlehem. Just as God is with us as we struggle along the road we too have to travel. And God was with them when there was no place, no rest, no peace. Just as God is with us when we too find it hard to get any peace or any rest. And God was with them when they had to move on again. Just as God is with us when we're just getting settled and then once more things have to change. If Christmas says anything to us, it says that the Spirit of God, the love of God, the light of God is with us in the mess, in the hurt, and in the pain. So as we wait for Christmas in this most difficult of years, we don't have to try to escape from the reality of our lives. We bring the reality of our lives, and like the shepherds and the kings, we also kneel before the God who is with us in all the mess. We tell him what is in our heart, the happiness and the hurt, the peace and the anger, the hope and the disappointment, the contentment and the fear. We bring to God our life, and we hold it open to him and invite his love to be born once more in our hearts, to speak to each one of us the word we need to hear, and to give us the love, the light, and the strength which we need. May that be yours this Christmas. Amen. We now listen to the hymn, O Little Town of Bethlehem.